How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Polygon, Immutable partner for new ZK EVM Ethereum gaming network. Polygon and Immutable, both heavyweights in the Ethereum scaling space, are teaming up to create a new network designed specifically for Web3 gaming powered by Polygon's anticipated ZK EVM technology. Today, Polygon Labs and Immutable announced a strategic alliance to collaborate on the creation of an Immutable ZK EVM, a new Ethereum scaling network that will pair the soon-to-launch Polygon ZK EVM tech with the Immutable platform designed for blockchain-based games. The news was revealed amid the start of the annual Game Developers Conference. Polygon and Immutable aren't merging, and they'll continue their respective projects and initiatives. Polygon's own ZK EVM mainnet network is set to launch in beta on March 27th, while the existing Immutable X scaling network based on the Stark X ZK rollup tech will also continue on alongside the new Immutable ZK EVM network. Immutable co-founder and president Robbie Ferguson said that the partnership was an obvious move that lets the core builders behind both existing networks combine their efforts in the service of Web3 video game adoption. This is how the next billion users will be onboarded into Web3, he said. Although the approaches are different for both projects, ultimately they make Ethereum more useful for things like video games, large-scale NFT projects, and other dApps, by enabling faster, cheaper transactions than on Ethereum's own mainnet. Immutable X and Polygon are competing scaling networks, however, and have previously competed to lure in developers, brands, and users. When we first came together, it was certainly hard to wrap our heads around it, Wyatt said. It took time for both sides to figure out, okay, how does this actually make sense for all of us? So once they figured out, hey, we have an aligned interest, then they moved forward. That shared belief that they want to expand the capabilities of Ethereum rather than trying to beat it with a new network gave them a shared foundation to start from. Immutable ZK EVM is slated to start rolling out towards the end of Q2 2023, Ferguson said, which is when Immutable is aiming for usable things to go live. But developers can start building software development kits or SDKs today to explore the tech. The network will use Immutable's IMX token for gas fees and transaction sequencing. He also expects there to be bridges built to help move assets between Immutable's ZK EVM and Polygon's own ZK EVM network, and possibly other networks in the future as they're aiming to make Ethereum more interoperable. U.S. Senator calls for investigation into banking failures, said Fed Chair Powell bears direct responsibility. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren called for an investigation into the recent collapse of major banks on March 18th, letter to the Treasury Department's Deputy Inspector General and the FDIC's Acting Inspector General and the Federal Reserve Board's Inspector General. I am writing to ask you immediately open a thorough independent investigation of the causes of the bank management and regulatory and supervisory problems that resulted in this month's failure of SBV and Signature Bank, and deliver preliminary results within 30 days. These failures were extraordinary events. They were the second and third largest bank failures in our nation's history. She added that until the Treasury Department, in consultation with the Federal Reserve and FDIC, determined them to be a systemic risk and intervened to guarantee billions of dollars of deposits, these banks' failures threaten economic contagion and severe damage to the banking and financial systems. While noting that banks' executives who took unnecessary risks or failed to hedge against entirely foreseeable threats must be held accountable for these failures, Warren claimed that this mismanagement was allowed to occur because of a series of failures by lawmakers and regulators. She further alleged that Congressman and former President Trump weakened the Dodd-Frank Act, but had nothing supporting any allegations here. In the addition of the lawmaker, the FDIC, under Chair Jerome Powell, initiated regulatory rollbacks, and the bank's supervisors, particularly the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco that oversaw SBV, missed or ignored key signals about the impending failure. Warren emphasized these regulatory rollbacks created an environment in which failure was inevitable. Moreover, Moreover, Warren wrote, Chair Powell muzzled regulators from any public mention of the regulatory failures that occurred under his watch. If these reports were true, they would reveal outrageous and inappropriate interventions by Chair Powell. Venezuela's crypto regulator targeted with $5 million bounty removed and arrested. Jose Ramirez, the top authority of cryptocurrency policies in Venezuela, has been removed from his position by none other than the President of the Republic, Nicolas Maduro. Ramirez has since been arrested, under investigation for participating in a scheme to steal from Venezuela's oil operations. His removal affects not only Ramirez but also a significant portion of the institution's management staff, as it calls for comprehensive restructuring of the National Superintendency of Crypto Assets and Related Activities. Whole mouthful right there. The President Maduro has not issued an official statement, and the government has not provided reasons for Ramirez's removal. The rumor that has gained the greatest traction is his alleged involvement in acts of corruption, which he's been fined for in the past. Not going to try and say that. That guy explains that Venezuelan authorities are investigating a corruption scheme through which $3 billion from Venezuela oil sales were diverted as to not appear in the official accounts of the Venezuelan government. And then Jose Ramirez assumed his position in June 2018, replacing Carlos Vargas, a former congressman and member of the opposition party Un Nuevo Tiempo, whom the government tasked with coordinating the creation of the national currency Petro. Ramirez was responsible for the installation of the national crypto asset system and promoting the legal framework that governs the cryptocurrency ecosystem in Venezuela. So, because Ramirez is a corrupt individual, they're going to have to redo all their regulations they have around crypto to make sure that there was nothing corrupt. That way, there's no fraud can't thrive in this environment. Florida government Ron DeSantis introduces state legislation banning CBDCs. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis proposed legislation on Monday that would ban central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, from the Sunshine State, portraying it as a measure to safeguard Floridians' financial privacy. The legislation would prohibit in Florida any CBDC that the U.S. Federal Reserve could introduce and any created by a foreign government, outlawing the technology entirely from being used as a form of money within the state. DeSantis introduced the legislation from behind a podium with the phrase Big Brother's digital dollar plastered across it. He skewed the technology as a vehicle that could lead to government overreach and pave the way for financial surveillance. I don't think that's skewed, but okay. What a central bank digital currency is about surveilling Americas and controlling Americans. You're opening up a major can of worms, and you're handing a central bank huge amounts of power, and they will use that power. Shapeshift founder Eric Voorhees, also called CBDCs Orwellian, hopefully he's not related to Jason. Edward Snowden has called them crypto-fascist cryptocurrencies, or currencies, sorry. The Fed has said that it's still in the early stages of researching a CBDC and hasn't determined if it will even launch one and if it's worth it. The article says that the idea of a digital dollar is a threat to civil liberties has gained traction in Republican circles. It shouldn't be a party issue. It should just be a issue with anyone that wants adoption. You should know that, hey, you don't want the government seeing everything you're doing and having the ability to flip a switch and turn you off. During his remarks, DeSantis called out the crypto executive order from President Biden last year that directed government agencies to get aligned on a crypto roadmap. It included a section that titled Exploring a US CBDC. Limiting the amount of gasoline a person could purchase or even preventing them from buying a firearm are some of the things that he warned is part of their agenda. The Florida governor called on other states to enact similar legislation prohibiting CBDCs. He said that the Texas seemed to be likely to follow, given conversations he has had with Dan Patrick, the state's lieutenant governor. So we'll get onto the charts now. So over on the daily, wow, can't really make up our mind. We were green just before I started reading the articles. Now we're red, so we're starting to fall again. Stochastic's still pretty flat. RSI is coming down, even though we have strength with the RSI. Momentum's still curling. Money flow's coming back out, and our VWAP's coming down. So the daily looks pretty bearish overall. Over on the 4 hour, we have bearish divergences all over. We're kind of making a flag here, or a symmetrical triangle here. So that has a 50-50 chance of breaking either way. It's actually a little more of an ascending triangle. So there is a chance of that breaking up, even with these divergences. Like I said, these divergences can happen when you're getting bullish moves. Stochastic's coming down though. VWAP's trying to recover. Our money flow is well in the green and continuing, even though it's coming down on the daily. So that's kind of counter to the daily. Over on the 2 hour, if we zoom, you can see we still have that triangle, a little bit more intact here. Bring this down, it'll be a little more straight there, so more of that ascending triangle. Momentum's overall coming down, even though we're trying to make new highs. RSI is kind of just fluttering around here. Our stochastic's trying to recover again. VWAP looks like it wants to break bearish, but our money flow's coming up after taking a little bit of a breather back here. So we are overall heading up on the 2 hour. The 4 hour, we're overall heading up, but we do have some bearish signals. So I'd watch out for those bearish signals. The 1 hour, our momentum wave's starting to roll over and our VWAP's starting to come down. This is where I'd watch for your money flows to start to break into the red, because once this starts to break into the red, then the 2 hour and 4 hour are likely to follow suit. Stochastic and RSI are rolling, and our momentum's rolling, so overall we look pretty bearish on the 1 hour, and we could actually fall out of this triangle. We have a manipulation X right here, so if we don't find support and bounce off it, then we could fall out of this and invalidate this pattern, which would be what would take us the rest of the height of this golden pocket here. If we take a quick look over at the futures, you can see we got a spinning top from yesterday. For some reason the futures closes, CME closes before the other stuff. Our stochastic's heading up, RSI's heading up, momentum's heading up, but it looks like it could start to curl. Money flow is pretty flat. Earlier it was starting to come out, so that's a good sign that it's somewhat flattened out. VWAP is heading down. We did bounce to the bottom of this channel, and we also did pretty much bounce to the top of it today. So we have this indecision candle that signals buyers tried to push us up and they failed, and sellers tried to push us down and they failed, but overall they were slightly more successful. Over on the 4 hour, we're kind of just going sideways. I wouldn't really call this a flag, because we've got this gap here we didn't really fill, and we've got a wick. Usually wicks are about the same as gaps. Usually you'll come down and fill wicks with candlesticks. Momentum's coming down, stochastic's coming down, RSI's coming down, and our money flow got rejected twice. So overall we're looking pretty bearish on the 4 hour. I just wanted to point that out real quick. So for the graph, we are coming back down to support. Stochastic is making a bearish cross and coming down. RSI is heading down because it's losing strength. Momentum's rolling over and we could get a red dot soon. Money flow is coming out overall, and our VWAP is coming down and about to break bearish. Over on the 4 hour, money flow is pretty flat. but it's real flat near this neutral area, so it doesn't really have any strength. So being flat here is kind of concerning. Momentum's coming down, stochastic's heading down, and our RSI is heading down. Our VWAP is in the bearish zone. It did curl away from trying to go bullish. However, it's trying to head back up and make another retest. Just watch for if it curls away again. Over on the 2 hour, we're getting a green dot here on our momentum. Our VWAP is trying to break bullish, so watch the next couple candles and see what happens. Stochastic's heading up, our RSI is falling because we're losing that momentum because our stochastic's under that neutral zone. Money flows overall heading down, and we did attempt to break bearish, so watch out for another bearish retest of the money flow. The 1 hour broke bearish on money flow, so that's concerning. If we do not break bullish soon, it could start to lead into the higher time frames. Our momentum wave did have a green dot, but it didn't really take us anywhere, and we're starting to curl out because that money flow rejected that cross. VWAP looks like it could flop over, and same with our stochastic and RSI. So overall, the 1 hour is looking pretty bearish here. We did lose pretty significant against Bitcoin today too, but that's to be expected since we've gained against Bitcoin real well. Over on Anchor, we did break our support, we did break our point of control, however we're bouncing off that low volume profile on that lower time frame volume profile. For the higher time frame volume profile, we're still trading in between our high value area and our point of control here, and our low value areas down here. Stochastic and RSI are heading down, momentum's curling with a red dot that could print tomorrow, or in 20 minutes for today, sorry. Momentum's coming out for the money flow, and our VWAP looks like it could break bearish, looking pretty similar to graph right now. The 4 hour, momentum's coming down pretty strongly. Our VWAP is making lower lows, it is trying to head back up though, but it did reject crossing back up. Money flow is pretty flat, just barely above that neutral zone. Our stochastic wants to make a little bit of a curl and possibly retest and gain some momentum here, but our RSI is falling because we don't have any strength. Over on the 2 hour, our momentum's coming down. We are trying to curl, we don't have a green dot yet. VWAP's trying to cross bullish, and our money flow is slightly heading up, so that's a slight positive. Stochastic looks like we could get a bullish cross here, but our RSI is pointing down. We'll need that RSI to kind of point away as that cross happens and drag us up. Over on the 1 hour, our RSI is kind of starting to curl, same with our stochastic, so that 2 hour might lose some steam pretty quick. We did break bearish on the money flow as well, and we did have a green dot that got invalidated, so our momentum could start to curl as we're starting to kind of bear flag here. Very small bear flag, but we do have one. So overall, we're looking pretty bearish on most of our coins so far. For XRP, we got a pretty big red candle, rejected that support level again. Stochastic starting to head down, RSI is heading down, money flow rejected crossing, and our momentum wave looks like it's about to start to curl. VWAP's heading down, yeah, you can see the momentum wave is just barely hiding behind that VWAP. The 4 hour we're falling, we had that red X. This might be the max playout we see, as usually they don't just mean you're going to drop, but it could also mean we could drop lower, so watch out for that, as we did cross bearish on the 4 hour for our money flow. Our VWAP is slightly losing, our RSI is losing, and our stochastic is losing, so the 4 hour looks pretty bearish. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow is pretty flat, a little stronger than the other coins right now. Our VWAP tried to push up, but it went flat just under that bearish zone, so watch out for that. Money flow is coming down pretty strong, or momentum's coming down pretty strong, sorry. Our momentum has a red dot that could confirm in about 17 minutes. So about the time of this video, stochastic and RSI are making bearish moves as our RSI is bending and our stochastic has a bearish cross, so we could start to lose some momentum. The 1 hour could cross into the bearish zone on the money flow here, so be very cautious. So now we'll go on to algo, and then that'll be it for tonight's video. As always, please like and share this video, that way you can help the channel out. And if there's anything you want to see, drop it down in the comments down below. We're getting a red X on the daily. That could drag us a little lower if that confirms, which it could in about the time of this video. Stochastic's heading down, RSI's heading down, momentum's heading down, and our money flow is starting to come out again. VWAP looks like we are about to curl and reject that neutral zone and start to fall. Over on the 4 hour, our money flow is pretty flat, a little stronger than some of the other coins tonight. Stochastic's heading down, pretty bearish. It is pretty beat up. Looks like we could drag out along here. RSI's heading down, VWAP money flow is heading down. Momentum is heading down, sorry. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a double green dot, so that is a positive sign. Our money flow is pretty flat around this 11 zone. Not the strongest area to be flat, but we're not riding around like the 5 or 6 zone like some of the other coins, so we're slightly stronger. Stochastic's trying to push up. RSI is falling because we have no strength for it, because that stochastic's so beat down. So if we don't start to get some momentum with the stochastic and this VWAP does confirm across, then it's likely we could see some more downside here. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow did cross into the bearish zone, so we are confirmed in a bearish trend on the 1 hour. Like I said, watch for that to bleed into the 2 and 4 hour. Stochastic looks like it's about to curl, and our RSI is pointing down, so we could start to lose some steam here. Momentum looks like it's about to curl as well. And our VWAP is about to break bearish. So overall, we're looking pretty bearish on the 1 hour on most of our coins. So watch the next couple candles to determine how you feel about the market. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.